A really good thing about Excel 2013 and charts is it has a way to recommend charts to you. But not only just say, here, these look good, it explains why it's a good reason to do it, or have you consider why use this type of chart. So you don't always have to know every chart, but at least it gives you a direction on, hey, try this when you're working with this kind of information. So how do you get to recommended charts? Well, let's go ahead and choose the data we're going to work with. And as you'll notice, this is all selected. I do have the quick analysis available, but you also have insert and you have recommended charts right here. You can do that. You can also go to quick analysis, charts, and it's the last one here for more charts, and it defaults to recommended charts. So either way you want to get to it, if you want to look at a few before you get in there, but you can always just click on recommended charts. Okay. Now what I like about this is what I've mentioned in the introduction is that when it shows me a sample of it, this is a clustered column chart. A clustered column chart is used to compare values across a few categories. Okay, so we only had 5 of them. Use it when the order of categories is not important. And in this scenario, very minimal. Now, one thing I'm noticing, labor hours, not even close to what we're working with cost, material, travel costs, and so forth. So when we eventually do get to a point that we want to create a chart, we'll probably want to move those hours over or take them out of the chart, maybe hide them, so that we're just dealing with these, because these are the parts that really have the dollars assigned to them as well. All right. Another thing, clustered bar. It's used to compare values across a few categories as well. Use it when the chart shows duration or when the category text is long. Category text is long here, so it's not a bad way to show that information. Also, it says over duration. We really didn't have that in this particular one, but that's good to know if you need it over a longer period of time. Okay. All right, stacked bar chart. Used to compare parts of a whole across categories. Okay. So as you see these different pieces, labor hours, labor costs, material costs, travel costs, and other costs, it's showing you where a lot of that cost is coming into each of those individual pieces. Okay. Use it to show how segments of a whole change over time. So you could do some trending if this was, like first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, those kinds of things. So it begins to show you, when travel cost is really heavy this time of the year. But in the case of our particular chart, what we're looking at is that there is a lot of travel costs in developed detailed design specifications. Okay. So these are very revealing pieces of information, a lot of labor cost in acceptance test plan, and those seem to come down as we get into functional specifications, but materials stay incredibly strong here in design specs. We do have some other cost in here. So it's good. It's good evaluation. That is a good way to show that information. Stack column chart. Compare parts of a whole. Uses show how segments of a whole change over time. We really don't have that here. We're not over time per se, but it does show parts of a whole here. So in labor cost, these are the kinds of costs that we experience. So it's a lot like the one we were looking at before, but it's another direction here. I don't think it's as dramatic here as it was here. Here you can really see some strong differences. Here, yes, that's bigger than that, but not as strong as it was on the other chart. Okay. We have another one called clustered column. Here's a way compare values across a few categories. Use it when the order of categories is not important. What's really telling about this are our material costs, how they grow here. They come down. Again, we can see travel costs are heavy in this area. So I like this one as well. Sometimes looking there, you're looking at the components, of the pie, from a level view here, a horizontal view. And here you can see how much higher these are going and how they compare to the other parts. That's a really good one too. I think I like that one even better. What else we got? Clustered bar. Compare values across a few categories. Use it when the chart shows duration or when the category text is long. Now notice this is flipping these around. Earlier we had these titles here, or these titles were down here and these were flipped up here, so they were going across the long way. It's good. It's very small bars because we're having to put a lot of information down at the bottom, so it's making that a little bit smaller. So if you use that one, you're definitely going to have to expand that chart to see it. This is stacking the bars up, again using the other side of the information. And then we have specs. So you're flipping the data as you're going down here. Again, flipping the data to take a look at these. So recommended charts, very useful, a good way to get going and be able to compare. A lot of times it's hard to really make a good choice because you don't have a lot of comparison options or a lot of guidance on them, and recommended charts will definitely do that for you. So I think if I was doing this one, if I was working with this kind of data, I think I'd go with this one. Again, that's a preferred choice, definitely not a strict answer for this particular type of visual. So recommended charts.